Okay. All right, wait for people to join us. Wait for people to join us. I'm not playing World of Warships, but whatever. They won't let me change it. So we're gonna wait for people to join us. All right, so I need to make sure nobody's joining, but if anybody comes in, I need to. They can always edit this. We're gonna wait a little bit. Make sure people can hear me. Wait a bit. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Patcast episode 2. Why is my camera not working? What the hell is up with that? Oh, that's not gonna work. Activate. There we go. Here I am. All right, here we go. Here we go. Bring that down. Now, question is, can everybody hear me? That's the question. Can everybody hear me? What up, Shredhead? Can you hear me, brother? What's up, man? What's up? Doing good. Doing good. We're gonna do a. I'm doing a podcast. I did an episode 1. I'm doing another one. I'm waiting for more people to come. But there's a buzz. Does anybody else hear the buzz? I've got feedback. All right, give me a second here. How's that? Is that better? Still there. All right, give me a second. How's that? Is that better? Yep. All right, bingo. Got it. Okay, we got it. Sorry about that. We fixed the problem. All right, so we're gonna start with 5 people. All right, so here's the thing, guys. Last podcast, I asked a very serious question, and I got a lot of good results on YouTube, and I'm really glad that this, if this helps one person, I'm a happy person. I'm not doing this because like it's something I wanted. It's like I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's therapy for me. All right, so if this helps one person, I am a happy person. But the question I asked is, why is men's health considered misogyny? Why is men's health considered to be such a sexist thing, right? So I was wondering why that was going on, and So today we are going to watch a video called Men's Rights versus Feminism, and we're going to get different points of views because I want different points of views. I want to see why men's rights and men's health is so bad to feminists. Does anybody else see that too? Like, Glock, have you ever talked about something like to a girl that is really important why men commit most suicide, or you're feeling lonely, or you got to go out with the boys because if you don't you're going to go insane, and they're like, oh, who cares, me. I've seen that time and time again. I can't go out with the boys. But you need to go out with the boys. You were just talking about killing yourself. Yeah, but I can't. I can't because she doesn't want me to go out with the boys. Well, is it all right if she goes out with the girls? Yeah, I let her go out with the girls. Then why can't you go out with the boys? Right? Us as kings, we need to take care of each other. And then you boys say you're whipped. Right. Yeah, we need to take care of each other. We need to lift each other up. Right? Exactly. Thank you, Forge. Welcome. So we need to lift each other up. So here's how my podcast works. I don't have any guests. You guys in chat are my guests. Okay? So if you want me to stop at any point so you can say something in the comments, type in stop and I will stop the video, and then we'll talk about why you feel a certain way. All right? I will also be stopping the video if I feel like it's like, what the hell, So here we go, guys. We're going to listen to men's rights versus feminism. With commercials. Hold on. All right. I applaud these guys. Though. How are you not misguided? Okay, first of all, can everybody hear the video okay, by the way? Can you let me know if you can hear the video okay? Can't hear the video. No sound on the video. All right. All right. Give me a second.
To me, feminism is fairness.
I think that it's unfortunately misguided.
Feminism is a flawed movement.
When you hear the phrase men's rights,
Did you hear the video then? Because if you could hear the video then I have a problem. But could you hear the video? Okay, I have a problem. All right. Shit. All right, give me a second.
what comes to mind?
Aggression.
advocating for the human rights
How's that?
as a class.
I start laughing.
Is that all right?
In the conversation with men.
I would hope to get some insight and probably, if anything, agree on a lot more than disagreeing.
I actually hope to get a little bit more understanding of why some men think this way.
Do you
Okay, I'll try to fix that by next podcast.
activists and feminism?
We'll see.
I'll try to fix that buzzing by next podcast, guys. If you can't tolerate it, let me know and I'll have to figure something else out. But I'll try to fix that by next podcast. This is this is a new thing for me, so. All right, so now they're gonna sit down and let's hear what they got to say to each other.
Hi, my name is Zach, and I am 24 years old.
This is Chris. I'm a PhD student at the University of Southern California. I'm also a type
PhD.
1 specialist who challenges discrimination against men on college campuses. And I'm 30 years old.
Hi, I'm Derek. I also go by Brendio. I'm a YouTuber, and I'm also known as an incel, which is an involuntarily celibate.
Hi, my name.
Okay, I hate that term. I hate that fucking term. Incel. I can't fucking stand that term. Like, just because a guy decides that he wants to give up and go Sigma, all right, and he's more worried about himself and more worried about his resources than he is anything else, right? Then you're an incel. It's like, then you're the lowest of the low, right? An incel is a comment that feminists give to men who go Sigma, who don't want to mess with women, period, anymore, because they don't want to put up with certain aspects of the modern woman. That's that. So it's an insult, and he does, and I mean, he's owning it, but yeah, he's owning it, but you know. He's owning it, but I mean, it's a little ridiculous in my opinion. I hate that term.
Miss Alicia. I am a writer, poet, and teaching artist.
Hi, I currently work in the pet health industry, and I'm 30.
I'm 24. I'm a graduate student with a degree in health sciences, and I'm excited to be here today.
Can I get my men's rights activists in the left and my feminists on the right? Step forward if this statement is true for you. I believe men and women are different but equal.
Who believes that? That's a good question. Are men and women different but equal? Well, we're obviously different. If you're talking about biologically, we're different. Right? If you're talking about, I have double the muscle mass that a woman has, we're different. Right? Okay, but if are we human beings? Yes, we're both human beings. Now, are we equal? How can we be equal? How can we be equal? And if you go by my religion, okay, if you go by my religion, which is Christianity, it's God over man, man over woman, woman over children. If you go by my religion. If you don't go by my religion, then I understand that. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. There is no right or wrong opinion. But in my opinion, women are not equal because of the order of God. But that doesn't mean, and again, I'll say this to clarify this, that does not mean that I am in control of a woman, that a woman is my slave, that they should be in the kitchen 24/7. That's not like that. Women are to balance us out. One of the reasons that men commit suicide is because of loneliness. A big part is because of loneliness. I'm lonely. Should a woman that can work as a man at a job, they should be paid the same and have the same opportunity as I do at work. But can a woman be a man? No. Yes, well, legally they are paid the same. They have to be paid the same. Because if they're not paid the same, then every company would hire a woman. I know that if my business here, my podcast, my Twitch streaming, I'm going to need an editor, I'm going to need all that. If it's cheaper for me to hire a woman, then I'm hiring a woman, right? Because I'm trying to save that money. So obviously that the pay gap that they talk about is absolute bullshit. It's been proved and debunked hundreds of times, and there's different aspects to it, like time worked. Do you take off for leave, for pregnancy leave? Men don't take off for pregnancy leave, so, so I agree. Yes, absolutely. But a lot of women don't want to do the work that men do, right? They don't want to do the work. Right. Correct. Women choose not to do the work. All right, moving on.
I know as a woman that I don't have the same physical strengths. Men and women are built differently. I think whenever things are built differently, it's for a reason, right? But at the same time,
to benefit each other.
Of limits that have been put on women historically, like the fact that not too long ago we were just allowed to start voting. Even today, like the wage gap.
That was how many? And who did that?
Don't have a lot.
Who allowed women to start voting? Who allowed that? Who allowed women to start voting? Oh yeah, men did. Men did. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound coarse, but get over it.
Of rights that are just, it should have nothing to do with what gender we are to be able to be paid equally or just be treated with respect. So, yeah.
I do believe that, of course, that
Everybody should be treated with respect. That goes without question.
there are biological differences between men and women. And of course, there should also be legal equality. Of course, I disagree with the idea that women face systemic discrimination. You just mentioned the wage gap, which has been debunked so many times.
That man knows his
I
shit.
studied evolutionary biology quite a bit. And men and women are very different from not just a physical, the bone structure, the neurological department as well as the chemical balances. And also, I don't believe that men and women are equal under the law either, or they should be rather. Children are not equal under the law. And it's not because we hate children, it's because we love them and we want to protect them.
So if you believe we're not equal.
Okay, so Lucky Dog, what up? Exactly, Lucky Dog. That's true. But they did. They allowed them to vote because back then they were. But how long ago was that, right? How long ago was that? And just for a point of reference, and please check everything I say. Lucky Dog, by the way, glad to have you, brother. Glad to have you. Welcome, welcome. I'm looking for all kinds of opinions, all kinds of views. Anyway, and just as a matter of fact, and please feel free to look this up, 80% of women at the time did not want the right to vote. 80% of women at the time did not want the right to vote. The reason that they did not want the right to vote is because they didn't want what came with it. For instance, the draft, etc., etc. But we gave them the right to vote. Now, where was I? Okay, what about, now see, unequal under the law. I do not agree with that. Unequal under the law, like men and women should be equal under the law. Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. The problem that I have, and the reason that men have such a high suicide rate, which is really the point I like to talk to, which is really the point I like to talk about, because men's suicide rate is my main thing. That's near and dear to my heart, because I've thought about suicide. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, but the thing that is near and dear to my heart is suicide is, where was I going? Shit, I lost track. Okay. Anyway, I don't agree. Men and women should be equal under the law. Absolutely.
Well, then you're inferring that one would be greater than the other.
Well, so let me
So that's what
chime in
I'm
with my
trying to-
perspective.
yeah.
As far as not being equal, I don't think that necessarily means inferior or superior. When it comes to certain things like roles like childbearing, a woman is going to be far more productive and a lot more nurturing than, say, a man. And when it comes to doing a lot more of the heavy lifting and the work, a man is probably going to be.
That man nailed it in the head. They do not like gender roles. Feminists do not like the word term gender roles because they see it as some sort of control mechanism. I do not want to control my wife. I want my wife to be the other half of me. Okay? So it's not a gender, it's a gender role. She has a role, I have a role. I agree with this.
More suited for that role. And I don't think that makes them any better or worse. We are just built, created, and born different.
I would also like to elaborate. I am not saying that they are worse overall or better overall.
They complement
like
each
he
other.
said, yeah, they do.
They complement each other beautifully.
Complement
Work
each
very
other.
well together.
Yes.
We
When
need
they
each other
are
for
working in that
for
proper-
offspring. I mean,
yeah.
that's part of the beauty.
Okay, I think that men have become devalued in modern society because expressing and embracing our primal and most instinctive role, we are often made to be wrong. Men aren't meant to protect the women and children. We were at some point, Lucky Dog, but I agree, we have been devalued. But we were to protect men and women, the women and children at some point. At one point, when men built the Western, right, looked at it as wrong. But when men built Western society, okay, their so-called toxic masculinity was valued because it protected women and children. But now everybody's safe. So now toxic masculinity, again, I do this, is not accepted and is seen as too aggressive. So, Lucky Dog, we are on the same page there. Absolutely, totally agree.
Of it, and I think trying to equalize them and make them the same and, you know, transition and all that, I don't believe is going to be the most conducive when it comes to the family raising children, but also just for overall well-being.
I want to note that you brought up children being unequal to adults. I just hope you weren't comparing women to children.
I mean, it was technically a comparison of women
Okay,
and children.
I don't need you to
suppose.
protect me. I just need you not to harm me. I can protect myself. I'm very capable.
Chat, what do we think of that? What do we think of that statement? I don't need you to protect me. I need you not to harm me. Well, if you're afraid of being harmed, who's supposed to protect you? Who's supposed to protect you if you're afraid of being harmed? That's all I'm asking.
Of doing what I need to do. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Welcome to BetMGM Live Dealer.
Sorry about the commercials.
Poker, roulette, all on your device 24/7.
Sure.
100%.
I am an incel or an incel advocate, I suppose.
I hate that term, incel. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, cool. All right, hold on. Lucky Dog, what's it about then? Because I'm confused. I genuinely don't know. Hold on a second. While you're doing that, I'm going to look up a statistic. All right, so they're afraid of violence. What kind of afraid of violence are they afraid of? What, sexual violence? Lucky Dog, that's what I'm saying. Because is it her that goes downstairs or is it us? Okay, so yes, she can protect herself, but a man that loves a woman, cares for her, his job is to take the place of her father now and defend, protect, etc. Yes, she can do that. No one is saying she can't. Exactly, Locke. Exactly, because once that's why during marriage the father gives hands over the woman to the husband. Right. Lucky dog. Yes. Yes. Very good. Yes. I totally agree. Yep. You got to keep confidence to keep her. Yep. Exactly. Remember, because back in the day, you used to have to talk to the father before you could even marry a woman. Before you could even date a woman, you had to talk to the father, and the father sized you up. The father used to be like, "Oh, I don't like this guy," or "I like this guy," right? So back in the day, so what is that? That is protection, but she doesn't need protection. Well, I'm a 2A advocate. Okay, I think everybody and their mama should have a gun. So yeah, technically, she doesn't need protection. Get yourself a 380. All right, there you go. But if you look at the statistics, hold on a second. Sorry, I got to wear some crappy glasses. Give me a minute. Amen, lucky dog. Amen. Okay, so what is she afraid of? Okay, because if she's afraid of rape, 43.5 women per 100,000 got raped in 2021. 43.5 women per 100,000. All right, so I don't know what she's afraid of. Don't hurt me. Hurt you from what? There are bad people out there. You need a man to protect you. Stephen King said it best, right? He said, quote unquote, under the umbrella of society, they don't need a man, but if society were to fall, she needs a man. All right. So continuing.
I don't hate women at all. I think we're different, and they have aspects that are superior to men as well. It's just very contextual on the subject.
So what's wrong with this guy's point of view?
Masculinity is real.
Toxic masculinity is what built this country, built Western society, not just this country, but Great Britain, France, all of it. All right, let's see. If my daughter is single and someone attacks her, who does she run to? It's her daddy. If he came home with the milk. Right, exactly, guys.
I think that toxic masculinity is definitely a real thing. It's kind of just the idea of what masculinity should be, but it goes wrong a lot of the times, saying that violence, sex, power, being a controlling person makes you a man.
I see it in very
Who said that makes you a man? Violence, sex, power. Who said that makes you a man? Did anybody's father ever tell him that? Oh, that's right. That's all right. You guys are my guests. Okay. The woman does not need protection. You are right. Buy a gun. It's not about her needing the protection. That independent mentality makes men question what our purpose and reason is for being is. She really doesn't need a man to protect her, but we need to know that we can be secure and confident. That's a big reason why relationships fail and why men are driven to suicide. Thank you, Lucky. That is exactly where I was going. That's exactly where I was going. Why men are driven to suicide. We are all alone. Did you know that only 1 out of 3 men are having sex this year? 1 out of 3 men are having sex. That's it. Or have a committed relationship. Thank you, Lucky Dog. I got mad love for you too, brother. 1 out of 3 men. So, and by the way, look up anything I say. If I'm wrong, then I'll admit I'm wrong. Damn right, I'll admit I'm wrong. But I'm just saying, it's out fucking. It's crazy. It's 85%, 90% of women going for 10% of the men, and and then they don't have a man, and they're like, where are all the good guys? So I don't know, but no man has ever been raised that violence, sex, and power is how you be a man. No man. Unless you're a sick son of a bitch. I don't know.
Fortunate places, like when the young men or boys in my family, even from like toddler age, are told you shouldn't be crying. Boys don't cry. And what that turns into.
Oh no, we cry. I said this in my last podcast. We cry, but we cry by ourselves. We cry by ourselves because the minute that we cry in front of you all, you lose respect. I've seen it hundreds and thousands of times.
I see it when I'm in a bookstore and a guy who tries to get my number says, why y'all always gotta act like that? And he sincerely had this like cracking voice, like he was hurt, but it was an entitlement. And that's toxic masculinity.
Entitlement for asking you out? And you turned him down and he was hurt? Who likes rejection? Do you like rejection? Chat, do you like rejection? Who likes being rejected? Because I sure as hell don't.
It's saying like, you don't realize how your behavior is harmful.
What is toxic
Hold on a second. It's harmful to ask somebody out now? Okay.
masculinity mean? Is it character traits? Is it upbringing?
The suppression of feeling for a lot of men, because throughout childhood they're told man up. So because of that, there's a lot of repression. Repression then is usually channeled into anger for some.
I'm sorry I keep stopping it, guys, but okay. Guys, how would you feel as a streamer? Okay, Glock, I'm about to say something too. How would you feel as a streamer if I got on ships and you were playing ships with me and I was talking about how lonely, sad, and depressed I am? How would you guys feel? Would you guys watch me? Would you guys look at me with respect if I were to go on there and go, oh, I'm so sad. Just, oh my God. How would you guys look at me? Would you even watch my stream? Would I even have any of y'all's respect? That's how men are, honey. That's how men are. And we're built that way because we had to build. For 6,000 years, we went out and hunted and protected and went to war to protect you ladies. The father's job is supposed to teach his son to be a man and be tough, but teach him to love as well. Exactly. Exactly, Lucky. Exactly. That's why when I stream, I don't talk about this shit. I don't talk about my problems. I don't talk about anything. I just want to play a damn video game with the boys. That's all I want to do. I want to play a video game with the boys. That's it. So I go there and I don't talk about my problems. I don't want to talk about my problems. I want to talk about how everybody else is doing and how good life, because I'm here to support the boys. I want to support you guys and lift you up. And if my stream helps with that at all, then great. That makes me feel much better. But inside, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm dying. I'm dying inside, physically and mentally. But that's just something I keep to myself, right? So what? So what? Okay, moving on.
People, because they don't not always know how to express because they're told not to express.
So upbringing and
That's part of
environment.
it,
Okay.
yes.
But not something that's inherently a part of,
No.
of men.
No.
Okay.
I think that, when you're
Okay, I am always teaching my son to be sensitive to all things, but he gets hurt of feelings that his mom is gone. Cry. Yeah, but that's a father-son relationship, Glock. That's different. Exactly. And men show love differently than women do.
showing your emotions, especially to random people, random women in some cases, they will view you as weak. I was raised by a single mother. I love her. She's my mom. I love her. But I could have used being told to act like a man. I think back, there were some cases where I was too emotional, and that negatively affected how I, what happened to me. And
May I ask a question?
Sure.
What is your definition of weak as a man?
Not being as forward as you could be, not being as honest, or trying to be not as emotional as you don't need to be. You don't have to cry over a cut. I know sometimes cuts hurt a lot, but sometimes it's necessary to be strong for the benefit of not just yourself, but for people around you.
I'll sum up what he just said in one word: stoic. You're supposed to be stoic as a man.
It's fine to act emotional in certain cases, but I don't think it's fine to act that way with a woman. Maybe you have a really good friend and he sees you cry, he's your best friend, and you're crying about something really personal. I think that's fine.
I feel like you're conflating two different situations, because you started off with saying a random person or even women. So it feels like, okay, this is a woman that you don't have a bond with or any type of relationship with. And then you mentioned, or in front of your best friend.
If I was dating you right now and I cried in front of you, you would see me as weak and jump on another dick. That's what would happen. I saw all my friends go through it. Feel free to disagree with me, but I've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times.
Friend, that's okay to cry. Well, that woman could be your best friend. That, so.
I don't think you can be friends with a woman. So.
Men and women can't be friends. Exactly. I was taught to open doors for women and stuff. But when men and women can't be friends. What? You don't agree, Lucky Dog? I have okay, Lucky Dog, let me ask you a question. And feel free to not answer. How many of those women would you sleep with if they said, come over and fuck? None? All right, Lucky Dog. Well, I tell you what. See, you're a better man than I, because if I have a woman friend, and I'm just being honest here, because honesty is the best way. But if I'm friends with a woman and they ain't my boy's girlfriend, which bro code, right? So you don't do that. That's a no-no. Or if I find them unattractive, I don't want to sleep with them. But if I'm friends with a girl and they ask me to come over and fuck, I'm over. I'm coming over and fucking. And that's true too, Glock. I guess it might be just me then. But I don't know. The type of men that I grew up around, they all were the same way. They kept, what they did is the men that I grew up around, like the guys I grew up around, my homeboys growing up. What they used to do is they used to be friends with the girl, right? And listen to her and pay her attention, and then when she would be pissed off at her boyfriend, he would be a shoulder for her to cry on, just so he could get in the pants. And those are the type of men that I grew up with. And so coming from my perspective, coming from what I've seen, and I did it too. I've done it too. Now, I haven't done it in a long, long time, because I'm trying to be a better man, a better Christian. I'm trying to be a much better person than I was back then. But I don't allow myself to be friends with girls that I want to sleep with because I want to sleep with them. Lucky Dog, you're awesome for turning that down, bro. You are awesome for doing that, man. That is awesome. That says a lot about you and a lot about your character. Have you? Yeah, see. So that's why it's kind of my rule. I will not be friends with a girl that I want to sleep with. Oh, you got a girlfriend. That's awesome, man. That is awesome, Lucky Dog. I'm glad to hear that, bro. Got divorced about 3 years ago and started dating last December. Man, I wish the best for you, dude. All I want you to be is happy, King. Just be happy, King. Man, I'm glad to hear that, dude. I really am. Like I said, I'm all about. I started this podcast to lift people, to lift kings up, to let them know, hey, you don't have to blow your head off, man. There's people out here that appreciate you. There's people out here going through the same shit you're going through. You don't have to blow your head off, man. You know, keep at it. That's why I started this podcast. That's why I'm doing it. So, Lucky Dog, you disagree with me. Glock, you disagree with me. I'm trying to be a better Christian, so I keep it a rule where I'm not friends with girls that I might want to sleep with, so I don't put myself in that position. So, fair enough. All right.
Because you don't see us as equal, as you said before.
I don't think showing emotions is a sign of weakness. I actually think it's a sign of strength. Men do live shorter lives, and that's
How many times have you heard that one?
because of a repression of emotions, and that's due to many things that patriarchy has instilled.
Of emotions.
It has been shown that a person's well-being, their
Okay, question. Does patriarchy exist? Yes, patriarchy exists. Lucky Dog says yes. Glock says yes. And what is so bad about the patriarchy? Did the patriarchy build Western society? Is the reason that I can start a podcast, even though I'm technically retired, and I'm absolutely miserable. Exactly. So what is so wrong about the patriarchy? Is the reason that these women can be on here instead of wearing a jabab and being thrown off a roof for talking to a man that isn't her husband? Is that the patriarchy? Did the patriarchy allow that? I'm sorry, jabab. I think that's what it's called. So when women say the patriarchy did this, the patriarchy did that. Exactly. Thank you very much. So, in my opinion, the patriarchy is not an excuse.
lifespan is shortened when they are not able to express their emotions. In addition, when they don't have physical touch or when they don't have a partner to keep them company. We're human beings here.
Facts. She has actually spoken facts. When men like me, I'm going to die early unless I find a woman. I'm going to die early. Yes. I am going to die early because I'm alone. I have nobody to touch me, nobody to love me, nobody to make love to me, nothing. I'm going to die early. She's absolutely right.
We need to talk to each other. And if you think that our health isn't affected when you're not able to express that you are sad or upset, you're wrong. I
disagree with showing our weaknesses and emotions, but she's right on that. I never thought I'd agree with a feminist.
that men's rights activists are only men's rights activists as a response to women expressing that they want more equality. I don't think they focus on actual men.
No, men's rights activists are because the divorce rate goes to the women, the children go to the women, prenups go to the women. Marriage is a bad idea. It's a bad contract. She can leave you. There's no fault divorce. She can leave you for any reason she wants and take half your money. That's what men's rights is about. That's what it's about.
Men's rights issues and rather it's just an attack on women and feminism.
Today, women have more advantages than men.
Agreed.
I can speak from a hiring standpoint when it comes to things like affirmative action, and there are certain roles that traditionally men and women have been able to serve in, and now women can basically do all of those things, right? Because we've had such a strong advocacy.
All right, what do we got going on here? My ex-wife, when we got married, said she looked for an expiration date. Yeah. A lot of women's attraction is emotional, not physical. Being closed off emotionally closes them off sexually. It creates a sense of insecurity, much not like letting men be men. I'm a little confused, Lucky Dog, again, by what you're saying. In my past, women, all my boys, girls, have always left if they got emotional. They have always left. If they showed any sign of weakness towards them, the women immediately lost respect. So that might be a different world. Right. Might be a different world. That's true. And Lucky Dog, I think men show emotion. Like men love, when they love a woman, there ain't nothing in the world that'll stop us from doing something for them. Agreed? Very true, Lucky Dog. Okay, thank you. I was wondering what you meant by it. But when men love a woman, that's it. We love that woman. That's it, period. Agreed? Whereas women, most women, not all, but most, go up. They date up. If they can find better, they're gone. Most women, not all. But if they can find, like if you've got a Benz and they found a guy with a Lambo, they're gone. Most women. Most modern women. I'll clarify. Yes, most modern women, but not all. Again, there are definitely women out there that know how to be a good wifey. And that is a societal issue due to what? Apps, Facebook, Instagram. Holy shit, have they ruined society. But that's another topic.
For equal representation in the workplace, whereas, for example, you'll never find a man as a midwife nurse, and I don't think it's appropriate. That's why there are those differences.
Women in like the most important parts of society have an advantage. There's a lot of positions that men simply aren't getting
That too,
hired
Lucky Dog.
for because of the fact that they're a man. And it's not just in the workforce, it's also, I would say, it's a lot easier for a woman to find a relationship, even if she, says it's finding the right guy is so hard. It really isn't. But sometimes for a lot of guys, finding a girl at all is hard.
Very hard.
If I have to consider what I wear before stepping out the house, because I don't want to draw some type of attention, I don't know how many other...
Let me ask you a question, chat. As far as considering what she wears, if I go out, all right. Sorry guys, I need to dip out. I just woke up. Daddy, she comes first. I got your rest and later I post. All right, Glock. I'm also going to be posting it on YouTube, so make sure you check it out, brother. If I dress like a cop and somebody comes up to me and says, "Help me, sir," does that make me a cop? Or will I confuse people? I'll confuse people, right? So, Dave Chappelle said this. If you dress like a hoe and we were like, wait a minute, and we come up and approach you like you are one and you're not, it confuses us. Correct? I'm just saying.
Men have to consider, is this outfit going to be deemed safe for me? Any situation that I've experienced where I physically felt endangered.
Good night, Glock.
Simply because I don't want to give my number out. It's part of that entitlement for men. You're not...
Don't give your number out. Problem solved.
Entitled a conversation with me. You're not entitled to my number.
That aside, it's like, are you going to make one example of the entitlement of men when it comes to asking for your number be the all-encompassing thing that all men have a problem when it comes to approaching women?
Well, firstly, it's not just an example. It's not necessarily all men. I don't dislike men. I love sports. I play video games.
You don't have a problem when a man you think is hot. When a Giga Chad comes and asks you for your number, you're fine. But if the average Joe, like if I came and asked you for your number, hun, you would be like screeching. You'd be like, oh my God, no. You're like a 3 or a 4 on the sexual market value. I don't want you. Yeah, that's how it works.
I have bros. I hang out with dudes. We just want men to realize that if you have friends that are having locker room talk, as a man, as an ally, please say something to your friends.
Do you think repressing that is really the solution here, though? If it's in a healthy male space.
I don't think that's healthy. I think it's toxic in itself.
I mean, if you're making jokes and...
Locker room talk is not healthy. Guys, don't we do locker room talk all the time?
You're doing all of that.
Jokes that are harmful jokes are not healthy because they just lead to people normalizing things. People always say, oh, it's just a joke. But when someone else hears it, they don't realize how that resonates. And again, how that turns into violence. Like, this is not an isolated situation. I'm only thinking of 3 off the top of my head because if I think of too many, I'm going to spiral
So
right now.
what's the alternative? Men shouldn't talk about these things.
No, I think
No
men
one's
can
ever
have a
said
healthy
that.
dialogue. I don't think men have to be toxic in order to have a conversation. I know plenty of men that are able to have conversations about healthy, productive things, just like women are.
Well, it's not obviously something that I have personal experience with, but only 1% of all people on the death row are women in this country. So when women and men commit identical crimes, women are much more likely to, for example, escape the death penalty. And that's just plain sex-based discrimination.
That I agree on.
That's true. Look, I'm
Oh,
thinking
they
about
agree on
basic
shit.
needs, like around the globe, the women who don't even have like proper like sanitary like products.
I mean, I have to agree.
That's around the globe. That's not Western society. That's not Western society. Yeah, I don't think that's an issue either, Lucky Dog.
Just small things like a tax on a box of tampons. Do you think I choose to do this monthly? No, trust me. So why should I have to pay taxes when this is a medical necessity?
We're just like dismissed a lot.
Who doesn't pay taxes on something? Everybody pays taxes. You want equality, right?
A lot of our symptoms, a lot of the things we report, especially women of color, but women across the board, are just treated a lot less equally.
I'd say that I'm an advocate for what I believe the role that men play in society. I believe that their views should be expressed openly, that they should be given a platform to do so, and I believed in men unapologetically and unashamedly being men as we were created.
I think in my heart
Amen.
that there are things that men are entitled to. I am all about human rights, and I do consider the rights of every human, but every time I hear of a men's rights activist, I hear anger and I hear very illogical reasoning, and it just boils my blood because...
Illogical reasoning? Illogical. Men are nothing but logic. That's how our brain works, hon.
It's a setback for all of us.
I feel that the other side does not understand my values.
I think a lot of times when a movement is created, the other side thinks that they're being attacked or think that it's some like attempt at erasure. That's not what feminism is about at all. What do you need a whole men's rights activism movement for? I'm sincerely confused.
Well, I mean, like...
Break it down, guys.
For positive masculinity and what men should represent and healthy outlets for men. Like, I still think the Boy Scouts should be exclusively the Boy Scouts. For example,
Amen.
one of those things. Where I would like to think that we could get some common ground is when it comes to the clear biases that are in the court system, especially in the marriage and family court system.
Right, see, that's because we interject our own thoughts into other people's opinions and expressions. Yeah, but we do that to each other, don't we, Lucky Dog? Like, all right, you notice that men will say what we think directly to each other. We'll just say it to each other. We don't care about each other. Yeah, yeah. We just say what we're gonna. As to where women are more subtle and they're more like, I'll find a way to get you for what you said, but not right now. As men are just like, fuck you, no, fuck you. That's that's so it is, there is a difference, exactly.
Right? And right there is what I would advocate for when it comes to men's rights.
The things that stand valid, like that I'm hearing from y'all that are like valid to me, come from a place of like, I'm treated like unfairly by the system versus a lot of the things women are saying. It's
I
also
agree.
America and the system as well, but a lot of it is like harm from men.
How and where?
How and where what?
Where's this harm from men coming from?
Okay, it started when I was young. I'm not gonna talk too long. I was 16, got a bottle thrown at me because I told a boy no. It started when I was in a club. A boy touched me. I said no. He kept touching me. It got to the point he got violent. It gets to the point that the only reason why a man decided to stop touching me in the bookstore I talked about earlier is because he realized my husband was not too far away. And he said, sorry, bro. Never said sorry to me. That's why. And
Okay, that's unfortunate, but that means you ran across an asshole. Are all men assholes? Do all men act like that?
that's off the top of my head. This is why I get upset, because I'm like, I'm here to talk about like how you feel, but when you just dismiss the fact that women actually have experiences, that's when it seems like it's about more than your rights. It seems like it's about your ego. And that's where I get pissed off. Because how dare you tell another human being that their experiences, what they're telling you right in front of your face, is not valid.
I got on stream and I got called fat. A fatty McFatterson. I get picked on all the time, but it's not a majority. It is sad. It is sad. Yeah, see, that doesn't mean that I think everybody in my chat's going to call me Fatty McFatterson. I'm just saying. Can't generalize like that off one bad experience. That's unfortunate. But he was just an asshole.
I didn't say they were invalid. I said how and why. I'm trying to understand.
How and why? Because it happened. It happened many times. It happened yesterday. It happened the day before.
Okay, I think some of the things that you guys are touching on, such as the court system and gender roles, are a subject of patriarchy, and that's part of what women are trying to dismantle, is those traditional.
You're trying to dismantle the thing that built the society you live in. Why?
Gender roles.
Are there any feminist organizations that have done anything, for example, to challenge bias against men and fathers in the family court system?
Absolutely.
Can you please give me a list of feminist advocacy organizations that have engaged in any meaningful advocacy to address those issues? Because there are actually none.
Okay, I know that you came with your little research or whatever. I didn't come with
Little research is called facts and logic on
the list of like feminist organizations, but I know actively that there are women's organizations that are trying to dismantle those inequalities.
Just one name, just one
Again, I
organization.
didn't come with a list, my dude.
There are no such organizations.
fucking commercials.
Isla Dry Gin.
In what ways?
This guy has a PhD. This guy has a PhD, man. Like, okay, he knows his shit.
I think there has been significant progress over the last decade or so, especially in the legal field, but I think there are still significant disparities that need to be addressed, such as poor health conditions, bias against men in the criminal justice system, bias against men in family courts, and bias against men in the educational system, especially in colleges.
Men and women should be allies.
Yes, we should.
Men, unfortunately, many of them don't want to even have this open dialogue that we're sharing right now. We need men to help be allies.
You need men to lead, is what you need. I'm sorry. That's what we used to do. We used to lead. I know they do. They do. The family courts fuck so many men. But we used to lead. We used to not be like, I'm the leader, I'm in power, I'm in control. We didn't want that shit. We used to just lead. We used to keep the nuclear family together. We were the cornerstone of the family. And you can't have a society without a family.
Help speak to other men.
It strikes me like the way you phrase this, you almost want men to say certain things that you want them to say, as opposed to maybe actually listening to what they're saying.
What certain things would I want to
Just
hear?
kind of like men being allies, men talking to other men, etc. I'm completely okay with that, but I'm not going to repeat like feminist talking points to other men.
We all believe different things. We may be under the label of men's rights activists, but for example, I'm probably the most traditionalist person here. I think we should be allies, but maybe us being allies in a patriarchy wouldn't be so bad. You know, us going back to the past wouldn't be so bad. It would probably be a lot happier if we were
I agree.
married.
I agree with him.
Having kids. And,
I agree.
You know, going to
I agree.
church and all that la-di-da-di-da.
While speaking to the three of you, I feel like you're each coming from different perspectives. So it's hard to, again, just like our perspectives, it's hard to generalize. So to me, I feel like there are certain things that, even though we're not fully agreeing on it, things may get lost in translation, our verbiage may not be 100% correct, that we could at least agree on.
Can I ask one question?
Okay, so everybody knows I come from I'm with the middle guy. I'm with the middle guy. I agree with him.
What would you envision would be the ideal man with the end goal of feminism as far as educating men or working to dismantle whatever patriarchy is? Like, what does that man look like?
It starts with childhood. We have to teach children as well as girls, because we're also taught, because of toxic masculinity, what a man should be as well.
I think that we just need to hold men accountable. In order to kind of make progress, we need help from people that will listen, because
What about your accountability when you do hypergamy? What about your accountability when you cheat? What about your accountability when there's 20 guys in your DMs but you're with one guy? What about that accountability? What about it?
let's be real, when we express our concerns, a lot of men refuse to listen, but they would be more likely to listen to another man.
Do you also feel like you have an ethical obligation to challenge other women or other feminists when, for example, they deny that men face discrimination?
When it comes to things like, oh, men can't be abused, I've had this conversation with another woman, and it's the idea that just because a man may be physically stronger than us, does that mean they cannot be abused? And
Men can be abused and raped. We get abused, but we're not going to talk about it. Am I right, brothers? We are not going to talk about it. We are not going to admit that some woman beats us. It's not going to happen. If we get raped, we're not going to talk about how we were raped. It's just, we're not that type of people. We're not that way. We just suck it up and move on.
because of that,
Or leave.
again, fairness, women need to be held accountable as well. I want to understand their viewpoint. As a woman and a woman of color, I know how it feels to be disenfranchised. So I want to understand why they feel the need to have a men's rights movement.
I feel empathy for the other side.
I don't feel empathy for feminism. I don't.
I don't think there's ever a time in my life where a person says they're hurting and I don't at least try to listen or understand. My only thing is that I want the same in return. So when I'm genuinely saying I'm hurting or I've been through something, and it's not just a personal experience, because I actively do this work and surround myself with women saying I've been hurt by a man before. I get that you have stories, but I mean, that's actually my question. I haven't heard y'all stories. Like, I've sat up here and said,
We're not going to talk about our stories. They're not going to talk about their stories.
And I haven't heard y'all say, this is what happened to me.
I don't think that I'll ever invalidate a woman's feelings when she says, hey, I've been abused or whatnot. I don't think any of us here are rightfully saying that. But I think what's dangerous is when emotional testimony that may not always be what it is gets, creates...
Thank you, Lucky Dog. I'll keep going.
I feel empathy for women being lost, being misguided. Look,
Yep, see, I agree with the middle guy.
I don't know. You can go.
Do you have any bit of empathy for anything we said up here?
Yes, I really do feel empathy for
Why
women.
was that so hard to say? Like for the stuff that we said, do you have any bit of empathy for the stories I said up here?
Yeah,
I just want to know.
I do.
Like I'm not even trying to be hostile. I just genuinely want to know.
Yeah, I just think that like a lot of the problems that have happened in your life are because society is not patriarchal. It's not traditional. It's we're gone. We're lost. We're in a fallen state, right?
There is a change of guard, not necessarily a change
Shout
of guard,
out,
things are-
shout out, Jesse Lee Peterson, Fallen
And I feel like
State.
a lot
Shout
of
out.
men speak from a viewpoint almost of fear.
Oh yeah,
Most
brother,
men
take it easy, lucky
are
dog.
Having a hard time grasping that and feeling comfortable with it.
I do feel empathy for your personal experience, but I cannot sympathize with your ideological position because that ideological position is built on a fallacy, and that fallacy is actually costing, that's causing very real consequences
killing
for
men.
the class in this country. So I understand that you are here with us as kind of the good feminist, so to speak, that you feel empathy for men, and I believe you, but I do not believe your movement, and I do not believe your ideology.
It's killing men, is what it's doing.
That's a wrap, guys.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. That's a wrap for me, too. I hope everybody enjoyed it. This is episode 2 of the Patcast. I'm going to keep going, and I hope everybody got something out of this. Those of you that didn't voice their opinion but watched, thank you very much. God bless. And I will be posting this to YouTube tomorrow at some point. So if you want to check it out there, that'd be really appreciated. Or drop it a like or share it. I would really appreciate it. And God bless, guys, and stay up, Kings.